I'd like to call this the presidential job creation fallacy. The reason why I call it a fallacy is because I think there's a few key metrics that aren't taken into account when presidents only talk about job creation. The first being that our United States population is increasing. You can see at the chart below, it shows our growth rate by percentage, which although it has gone down, you got to think about the other metric that weighs into this, which would be immigration. If immigration is going up, it doesn't matter if the growth rate is going down. We still need more jobs created than what people are added to our population. Therefore, job creation isn't the only metric we need to look at because population growth would offset job creation. The second would be the fact that jobs are lost. Presidents don't talk about losing jobs, they only talk about creating jobs. So the fact that we're always losing jobs actually negates the fact that they create jobs if they're not creating more than what's lost. Then from the White House website, also I think that we need to account for presidential spending. If the presidents are spending more than we're making in taxes, that's a net loss, not a good situation. On top of which, presidents in theory could create unlimited jobs in the public sector. And that's something that wouldn't be good for our economy because we would be paying everyone from the government funds, leading to a totally socialist economy, which isn't ideal based on history and what we've seen in the past. So some metrics that I think would be far more useful for presidents to point out would be unemployment rate, which they do some, but really they talk about job creation. Unemployment rate would be far better to look at. Initial and continuing jobless claims. Obviously, we don't want people to not work. Typically, these are people who want to work but can't find a job. I know some people would say, oh, well, unemployment's so high right now. Different situation. We would consider these people wanting to work. And the reason why is because if you look at labor force participation rate, not everyone wants to work, and not all of them will claim joblessness. So joblessness claims should be people that want to work. And lastly, I would say wages would be an important one to look at. If we can keep our unemployment down and wages continue to rise, that in essence would solve the $15 minimum wage debate that we're currently having. If wages raise high enough, everyone's wages would raise as the demand for employees would continue to go up, therefore shifting everyone's wages up. So a few charts that I think would be important to look at from this website I thought they did a really good job putting the numbers on paper. But first, like I said before, unemployment rate. Obviously, it shot up during coronavirus, the 2008 housing bubble, and some other times. But if we can get that under 4%, you can tell it's been under 4% roughly 5 times on this graph. That's ideally where we would like to be. Again, jobless claims initial, which have started to go down after coronavirus, and continuing, which you can look at in the long run as the max graph. Obviously, coronavirus is totally different than what we're used to seeing, but had a huge impact. So we got to get the jobless, especially continuing jobless claims, down below the mark that we've seen in previous history. And lastly, again, average wage. If we can continue the average wage to climb, we're making more money. That $15 minimum wage will take care of itself in the long run. So again, I think the presidential job growth fallacy is not a number to be impressed with. Instead, look at unemployment, average wage, and those would be numbers that you really want to pay attention to.